Good morning and a warm welcome to our session, Integrating Regional Smart Value Chains for Strategic Economy. Local innovation and industrial ecosystems can realize their full potential and increase interregional cooperation by tapping into the opportunities provided by cohesion policy, EU clusters, and regional innovation valleys. This session will show you how with the use of various EU technical advice and funding, local industrial actors can achieve the green and digital transition, robust value chains, and strategic economy. So I'm Elena Kostadinova and work for the Smart and Sustainable Growth Unit in DG Regio, and I focus on industrial transition, entrepreneurship, startups, and SMEs. And I'll present our team. So Magdalena Simeris is working in the Innovation Policy and Access to Finance Unit at DG RTD. She is the coordinator of the flagship European Innovation Ecosystems and Innovation Divide. She will be presenting the new innovation agenda and the regional innovation valleys. So Dr. Oliver Ziegler, he coordinates the RIS for Danube Horizon Europe project. He is senior project manager at the German project implementation and consulting firm VDI, Innovation and Technology. We have also my colleague, Eric Aramao Garcia, who is working in the same unit as me, but on the interregional innovation investment instrument, which you will hear about also in our session. Christina Jokelainen is the CEO of Smart North, and she is also the coordinator on thematic smart specialization partnership on mining. And she is also a member of the European Commission expert group on smart specialization. Last but not least, Dr. Santiago Cuesta Lopez is a general manager and executive member of the National Iberian Sustainable Mining and Raw Materials Cluster. He is also the general manager of the private non-profit foundation ICAMAUSIL. So both Christina and Santiago will present the European Mining Regions collaboration. With this, I give the word to Magda, please.
Thank you, Elena. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. So welcome, everyone. I'm happy to present you the background. A project that was launched and followed by numerous stakeholder consultations and co-creation process that led to adoption of new European Innovation Agenda in July last year. We define 5 key areas that are called flagship in our internal cuisine with 25 actions per sector when we're trying to improve the innovation framework in the EU and increase our competitiveness in the global market. As you can see, we define one of the main priorities is funding, so funding for deep tech scale-ups. Then we designed a number of actions across experimentation spaces, including sandboxes, living labs and test beds, as well as public procurement. Then we have Flagship 3 that I'm proud of coordinating on the European innovation ecosystems and bridging innovation divide across Europe. And this is where we park the action on regional innovation valleys that we'll present you in a while. We also realized that Europe lacks, we have talents, but we need to attract and retain talents in Europe. So we have a number of actions also with some women innovators, one which are my also personal favorite. And then the last one is policy making tools with the EIC forum and its working groups that I also invite you to research. Maybe you'll be interested into participating. It's quite a new policy making tool to receive a better feedback to policy. So with this, in the European Innovation Agenda, we defined, or it was decided to focus on 5 thematic areas, also called as EU burning challenges. And here you can see that the thematics are broad enough, but also they're kind of cross-cutting issues across different EU policies. Here we are trying to tackle to reduce reliance on fossil fuels, increase global food security, also to master digital transformation, including cyber security and AI. Then we have a challenge on circularity and improving healthcare. Without collaboration with these sectorial thematic colleagues, we wouldn't, let's say, fully tackle the challenges. So I also invite you to follow our website when we're actually unfold number of initiatives related to those. Okay. Here, I mentioned regional innovation valleys. We'll have a deep dive, but just to introduce you what do we mean by regional innovation valleys. So first of all, it's the first time when innovation and cohesion policy start to talk together. So from innovation policy, we take coordination and directionality, so this is reference to the EU burning challenges. But then we also try to look complementarity with smart specialization strategies and having the strong reference for the innovation cohesion. And finally, it's an ecosystem work, so we also really focus on strengthening and connecting European ecosystems. Then I put here some key definitions because we keep on repeating deep tech, but for the purpose of this call, also we defined deep tech as deep interaction between scientific and technological advances, but also seeking for the societal impact. And well, then as a, let's say, obligatory element of regional innovation valleys, especially under ecosystem call, we focus on these innovation actions, so very concrete actions on the ground that we're trying to support and improve the overall ecosystem. So with this, oh, sorry, I actually jumped. With this, I wanted to ask you, okay, this is, okay, I discovered that one. Yes. So now I would like to invite you to Slido. Because we're actually curious if you're already working on focusing on solving one of the burning challenges that we define in European Innovation Agenda. So here, Elena will display a QR code, that you can scan, and let's see if it works. Yes, it should. Okay. So the QR code is yes. So yeah, we see that here in the audience we have quite some interest for the circularity. Digital is, and also reliance on fossil fuels are kind of competing. It's actually interesting because the last point, so increasing global food security, will have a dedicated event for the food and bioeconomy sector in Bulgaria on the 13th of October. So our sectorial colleagues from DG Research and Innovation designed this kind of concept note that they want to share with their stakeholders to encourage food security and bioeconomy colleagues to actually get more engaged in regional innovation valleys. So then if any one of you would like to also learn more about this event, feel free to reach out to me. Okay, I think with this, Elena, I think we can go on. So that was the policy intro on the innovation policy and updates. So yet again, I invite you to our website on European Innovation Agenda with the roadmap, with all the relevant actions. And now, let's go back to the presentation. Okay. So here, the framework for regional innovation valleys. So I already gave you a definition, but we really focus here on strengthening the European ecosystems. We highlight here power of regions to actually develop innovation and improve innovation performance of member states. We also have the strong focus on encouraging stronger and weaker performing regions to talk to each other and help each other. And the overall policy ambition is to name 100 regions called Regional Innovation Valleys next year. And with this, I pass the floor to Elena.
On this map, you will see that the Regional Innovation Scoreboard has determined the regions which are emerging innovators and which are strong innovators or innovator leaders. And you can see the divide here. We have very strong to the north and to the west, and not so strong innovators on the east and on the south. But within a single member state, you can have completely different picture on innovation. Let's look now at cohesion policy EU regions. And they are defined by on the basis of GDP. You see the less developed regions in dark orange, the transition regions, and the more developed regions in yellow. And what is cohesion policy then? It is the main investment policy in the EU. It tries to achieve balanced growth, competitive economy, level playing field in the internal market. What we want to see is everything here on the screen to be yellow, if possible. And we have a legal basis for this because the European Union has considered it sufficiently important that the Union must take actions to strengthen its economic and territorial and social cohesion, and the Union shall aim at reducing disparities between the various regions. And how is it done? It is done through programs that are published and managed by national authorities, and they go along objectives that are set up at EU level. These are the 5 main objectives of the cohesion policy for 21-27: a smarter Europe, a greener and low carbon Europe, a more connected Europe, a more social Europe, and a Europe closer to the citizen. And I would like to ask you one question. To what extent cohesion policy objectives impact your business activities? I was hoping the Smarter Europe will make it. We clearly see that the greener Europe has an enormous impact on our daily lives and on the future of the EU. And this also is reflected into our policy documents and objectives. And we have also significant funding for the greener objective. As you see, first is social Europe, and then it is the greener Europe, and then it is the smarter Europe. But the green Europe is not possible without innovation, without a lot of investment in research and innovation, because with current capacities we cannot get to the objectives that we have put forward for us. So what is the way we think we should go? And in our view, this is smart specialization. This is an innovation policy concept to boost innovation in enterprises at the regional level by enabling the regions to focus on their strengths and competitive advantages. So the main point is location. This must build on the assets and resources available in the territory. You cannot build a hydroelectric plant without having water. So this needs to reflect whatever the region has as a strength. It also needs to prioritize. You cannot invest in everything. So you need to invest in those priorities in which the impact is the greatest, and to match research and innovation with business needs. And in order to do this, you need the participation not only of the local authorities, but also of the research, the private sector, and the civil society. So this is what smart specialization is about. It is to gather all these sectors together to develop the priorities. And I took one example from Central Macedonia to illustrate this. Central Macedonia has determined four priority areas: agri-food, tourism, you wouldn't be surprised of that, textile, and material. But they also looked at the supporting areas that would enable that transition that they have provided for. Of course, this is ICT, environment, logistics. Otherwise, these objectives cannot be achieved. And in the core of this is a one-stop liaison office that will support the regional innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem. Because without this ecosystem, innovation and research will not be possible to go forward for a competitive Europe. And this one-stop office is a structure that is for mediation and networking between research and industry. So what does smart specialization do? Up. Smart specialization strengthens innovation ecosystems. It also promotes the EU priorities because, as you have seen, also in the example of Macedonia, they are also looking into the environment, they are looking into ITC digital, they are looking into the geopolitical side, but also to promote interregional cooperation. And I give you one example for interregional cooperation. This is on the basis of Flanders smart specialization strategy, which specializes in high-quality agri-food. Then the Flanders food cluster in Flanders led the thematic smart specialization partnership, which gathers together 40 partners, clusters, research centers from 17 regions. This is how they managed to collect a platform, create living labs, and ensure that there is a flow of knowledge among those regions. How do we try to help this process? We try through two different instruments that we have: the community of practice and the interregional innovation investment instrument, about which Eric will speak later. The community of practice, I'll say a couple of words. This is to support regional authorities to create their smart specialization strategies, to create their projects, implementing those strategies, for any advice that they would need on smart specialization, and also to have thematic platform partnerships established and managed properly with our support. We have a website and a number of events as well. And we also have policy advice. And here we have one member of our expert group, Christina, who is advising us on smart specialization. And now you will see a very nice example of smart specialization with the Danube project. Oliver?
Thank you, Elena. So what I would like to show you today is the Horizon Europe project, and we use the methodology of smart specialization in order to facilitate green industrial transition in various regions along the Danube River. So the short title of this whole project is Sustainable Smart Specialization for the Reopening of Industrial Sites in the Danube River. So basically what we're doing, we're breaking this methodology down. We're not only focusing at the regional level by applying smart specialization, but we're going very much deeper at the local level. We are trying to come up with smart ideas for industrial site revitalization, and we are applying an S3 approach, and I will walk you through this in a few minutes. Our consortium consists of 5 partners, myself, Berlin-based VDI, VDIAT. We have a partner from Slovenia, Antea, BAC S3, Swiss partner with Dominic Foray, one of the founders of Smart Specialization, and 2 partners from Austria, Ecoplus and University of Vienna. So basically, what we are doing, we are trying to propose solutions for broader social, sustainable, technological, regional transition through revitalization of disused industrial sites. So we are trying to come up with good ideas for industrial sites, and we are trying to work towards spillover effects for the whole region. And we have 3 specific objectives: developing green and innovative development plans. So recall, it's sustainable smart specialization. Some call it S4. Development plans for the revitalization of 21 industrial sites in the Danube region. And you saw Elena's map. So it's an area where we see more red-colored regions, 10 Danube regions. We want to contribute to the discussion on further developing the smart specialization methodology towards sustainable smart specialization, S4. And then, of course, we also want to provide tangible policy recommendations. How can funding schemes be combined, and how can we identify synergies for the financing of plant revitalization? So this is how we're working. So some of you who are familiar with S3 might recall this. So we start with a very thorough analysis of the regions. So we try to analyze the strength, the assets, and the challenges of the region where these industrial sites are based in. And then we want to develop from these assets, strengths, and challenges ideas for the industrial plants which are disused. We have the University of Vienna who are conducting regional analysis. Then my team, we are organizing participatory EDP workshops, entrepreneurial discovery workshops. We bring together the regional partners, stakeholders from different fields. We call it quadruple helix, and we try to tap their brains. So we want to jointly develop ideas based on the analysis of the regions. So we want to use the strength of the regions to come up with new ideas. And we've turned this into a strategic business plan. So this is the area where we are active. So we basically started at the beginning of the Danube River in the Black Forest in Germany. And then we basically continued our tour in Austria. We went in Czech Republic, Slovakia, Slovenia, Hungary, and so on. We have so far organized 13 workshops, and at the end there will be 21. So I brought 2 examples of what we have been doing. This is an example of a workshop from Austria. There was this old ceramics factory plant that was closed, and the question was what to do with it. So the region is very strong. They have a good knowledge of new materials and ceramic products. So the group came together and they said, well, what we should do is we should create a recycling hub for ceramics, a circular ceramics hub. Guess what? There's no such thing in Austria. So whatever you do with the toilets or the sinks, they go to the landfill. They're not recycled. So in this plant, we could open up a recycling hub for ceramics products, and we could integrate research and training for complex materials. And of course, we can fully power this by renewable energies. So what we had planned to do, actually, we succeeded here. We created a sustainable hub by applying smart specialization methodology. This is a nice example from Slovakia. This was an old chemical plant, nice building, and the plant is in the ownership of the municipalities. There was no ideas what to do with it, so we brought together the whole group again, did our analysis, and we realized there's an abundance of wood in the whole area. So we brought together architects, researchers, and ideas now to turn this old plant into a wood crafting processing campus for wood-related materials and products, to produce wooden eco-houses, furniture, to use natural fiber composites as substitutes for plastics in automotive. And you know that Slovakia has a very strong automotive industry. We showed all the results to the mayor, who got very excited. And the good thing is this could eventually be funded through the just transition mechanism. So we created actually a lot of synergies, and we got a lot of excitement in Slovakia. This is our website. I have only a few minutes to walk you through this project, but please feel free to visit our website, RIS4Danube.eu. We show you lots of examples. You see, we will be shortly going to Croatia, continue our tour there, and you will also see a video from our workshops. And if you have if you have questions, I will be around. Please feel free to send me an email. And with that, I drop the mic and hand over to Elena.
So, good morning, everyone. I will be presenting the Interregional Innovation Investments Instrument. It's a relatively new instrument launched under cohesion policy. It has a 570 million euros allocation under the European Regional Development Fund. I will be starting by providing you with some background information about the policy background. So, some bits were already covered by my colleagues, Elena and Magdalena. This year in May, under the I3 instrument and the cohesion policy instrument, I3 instrument, and European Innovation Ecosystem Work Program under Horizon Europe, we launched 3 parallel calls to target the persisting innovation divide in the European Union. This is to address the flagship 3 that was mentioned before, to accelerate and strengthen innovation in European innovation ecosystems. As you can see here, we had for the first time a strong cooperation between the 2 policies. We have a combination now of the 2 guiding principles. So both of these calls are going to finance innovation projects that are going to build on smart specialization strategies, but also enhance the directionality of regional innovation investments and policies. With this in mind, I would like to show you where the I3 instrument is setting the collaboration between stakeholders. So during the previous financial framework, the European Commission has set different smart specialization platforms, so thematic platforms to let stakeholders on ground connect, learn, and collaborate based on shared or complementary smart specialization strategies. And specifically, they could meet and collaborate under partnerships. So it's more specific thematic partnerships where they can work together and meet. And also, we had set different initiatives like Interreg Europe, where mostly public authorities can foster together better regional development policies. But talking with stakeholders, we understood that it was not enough, so we launched this new instrument that was meant to bring them to a further stage of collaboration. So with the I3 instrument, they are now able to connect and co-invest on innovation projects that lead to the market mature innovations. So as you can see, we are here speaking of a high technology readiness level. We are financing mature innovations on ground. Here we are speaking about cohesion, so it's not really about funding excellent innovation like Horizon Europe. But we have already more than 20 projects running that stem from production of pet food out of mussels in the Baltic region, or the production of new products out of the use of composite materials, thanks to the collaboration between stakeholders on ground in different regions and member states. So the main idea here is to bring together stakeholders from regions and member states who have different development levels, as was shown before, with the final scope as cohesion policy instrument to bridge the development gaps of such regions. This year we also launched as a DG Regio, that's free community of practice. This is a one-stop shop for all stakeholders that need assistance on the smart specialization concept. And so this is the place where they can interact, meet, and have assistance, and then they can further collaborate and co-invest with the I3 instrument. Before continuing, I would like to ask you whether if you're aware of if your regional stakeholders are engaged in such interregional partnerships. So this could be S3 partnerships or within S3 platforms, Interreg projects, Horizon projects. So I see that there is a good 64%. Around 60% of you are already involved in interregional partnerships. That's very good. For those of you who are already in those partnerships, the advice is to sit together and see if you could further strengthen your collaboration and apply for an I3 instrument call. If not, you're always invited to join S3 partnerships or platforms or existing consortia to then join forces and discuss about this possibility as well. So yeah, 70% is a very good number. We are hoping to get this even higher, but we see that the base is very solid to let stakeholders co-invest. Maybe we can target questions later.
Yes.
So I will pass through the main concept of the I3 instrument. So we are providing assist funding under different strengths. Mainly we have strength 1 and 2A, which are the actual open calls that are going to close in a couple of weeks that are aimed at financing mature innovations on ground, as I was mentioning. Strand 1 is rather to reinforce already existing value chains, while Strand 2A is to develop new EU value chains in less developed regions. We also have a Strand 2B that is meant to build the capacity for less developed regions so that in a second stage they will also be able to apply for such strands or also to invest under other financial frameworks. For the Strand 2B, there will be the new call of the actual work program that will be open in the next weeks, but more info will come soon. And we have 3 main thematic priorities that are green transition, digital transition, and smart manufacturing. These are quite wide so that we let stakeholders on ground collaborate on the basis of their local strength, but still with this call that was opened in 2023, there is a strict link with the new European Innovation Agenda, of course, because there will be the regions behind such projects will be able to be labeled as regional innovation valleys upon their request and upon funding. So this, once the application will be submitted, one of these 3 thematic priorities will need to be linked to one of the 5 burning challenges that were already showed before. So for example, we will have a project that will be submitted under green transition that will have a clear focus on reducing the reliance on fossil fuels. So we are here strengthening forces with DG Research and Innovation on this. And so it focuses, as the name says, on 3 main dimensions: the interregional dimension, innovation dimension, and investments dimension. Regarding the interregional dimension, the idea is, again, to gather together stakeholders from 3 or 5 regions or member states, depending on the strength, and to involve all the quadruple helix innovation stakeholders. Our main beneficiaries are SMEs, so business in general, but SMEs in particular. And as you can see here, SMEs, together with clusters, association, business, and industries, are going to team up with public authorities, universities, RTOs, and users, so that they will be able to cover a complete value chain and even implement it with cascade funding mechanisms that are optional also for projects. For the innovation, as I mentioned, we have a broad approach for what regards the innovation that we are funding. We, of course, take the Oslo Manual as the definition of innovation. You can see that we cover the full, the different type of innovations. We don't finance research, so it's from TRL 6 to 9 up until commercialization stage. And for the investments, here you can see some of the stages that are covered, but it's very important to mention that we are not supporting services to SMEs, but the real scope is to trigger investments on ground, private investments in particular. So we are providing with a 70% funding. That's quite high, seen other projects, programs. And we also include a possibility of including a financial support to third parties that is up to 100% funding. So as you can see here, the scope is really to cover complete value chains that can stem within different sectors. Just to conclude, I wanted to show you a project example of an i3 project that is already running since last year in November. It was kick-started. So this project, as you can see, is including several regions and member states around Europe. It's focusing on the EU value chain of the mining industry. It's led by Spanish and Portuguese stakeholders within the mining industry, so it can seal and cluster in the mining sector. Santiago will be maybe commenting on that as well, since he's involved directly. And yeah, as you can see here, there will be a focus of all of these stakeholders to bring on the market green technologies to reduce the dependence of the imports of the critical raw materials in Europe, and so to bring into the market these new green and circular technologies. So as I mentioned, we have i3 calls that are going to close in 2 weeks, but in the next year we will have new calls. For now, only the actual ones are going to lead to the labeling of regional innovation valleys, those for 2023. But yeah, so in 2024 there will be new calls with the same approach under the same 23-24 work program. So I will leave now the word.
Magda, please present the regional innovation values.
Very quickly, back to Horizon Europe then. So you learn about i3 under cohesion policy. Now we focus on Pillar 3 of Horizon Europe with the European Innovation Ecosystems Work Program, where we parked the EIE co-found called, I can show the previous slide for those who wanted to take a picture. So yeah, here we designed a co-found actions called Interconnected Regional Valleys with 2 main pillars, with a coordination and support part to create and enhance the ecosystem work, and then with the precise innovation actions based on specific areas linked to the EU burning challenges. I included here some examples of potential activities. As you can see, we want to both strengthen the capacities of regions, but actually also produce products that will also target quite advanced tier levels. Here, just to maybe sum up and solve the puzzle of regional innovation valleys, you could understand that we launch calls for proposals, but also you might have heard of call for expression of interest that was announced jointly by Commissioner Ferreira and Commissioner Maria Gabriel back in March this year. So we have the funding, the first batch of funding for EIE and i3 instrument. Here I can also anticipate and say that we promised under the European Innovation Agenda to dedicate still 40 million for the next batch of calls. So for those who don't manage to jump on the first round, there'll be for sure at least second edition. And yeah, then in parallel, we've been talking to stakeholders in regions. We realize we need to support them. The co-fund design is quite ambitious because we expect all the consortium members to co-fund 50%. So we offered some tools for them to better connect through a matchmaking event that took place in September, and then through a matchmaking map that is now live. I can now confirm that we have 157 eligible applicants to become or be labeled as regional innovation valleys. The map is online, so I invite you to check it. You can browse it and see a contact person from a region, the challenge they're working on. And some regions, as you can see different colors around the circles, declared a few challenges that they're trying to tackle. It's of course not exclusive. We welcome synergies. So yeah, with this, I invite you also to visit our website on the New European Innovation Agenda, iFree, also to check out the map. And in the meantime, if you have other questions, please integrate them on Slido. Yes? Yes, so I can actually, because now I'm mindful of time, I invite you on our website. We published FAQs for the differences and similarities between EIE and iFree. It's, I think, the first place to look. So on our website, on the New European Innovation Agenda, I'm happy then to show you and guide you from any supportive documents. I needed to be quite speedy to pass the floor to our cherry on the top speakers. There you go, Christina.
You will.
Thanks, okay.
Okay. Thanks.
It was perfect.
Thank you, and very pleased to be here together with my colleague Santiago to tell you a few words about European Mining Regions collaboration, what we have initiated together with the South and North regions. And very pleased to see our dear colleague from Andalusia here as well. Great. So, what are we doing? So, since 2018 we have been operating as one of those thematic partnerships what was introduced here earlier during this hour. And at the moment we are 15 active regions, all of them way or another involved with the mining and metallurgical industries. And we have put our forces together to complement each other with this kind of development, because we know that the regions are going to play a very crucial role in our future. And when we think about the mining and the role of the mining in reaching the green transition and twin transition targets in the future in the European Union. And the idea behind there is that each of us, we have a big knowledge, but we are all alone, we are very lonely. And we need others, and we need each others to work better together and to support this European level collaboration. And it was earlier mentioned by the Jelena and the others, they spoke about the smart specialization. And every partner region who is involved here, the smart specialization strategy is the core, and actually the ground which is putting us together. We all have somehow or some way indicated that mining or mining-related industries are very important here for us. And also to mention here that we are focusing on the development of the ecosystem, regional ecosystems, who are actually providing the services for the bigger industries and working on that way with them. And that bigger industry also provide very good ground for them to grow and develop their expertise in the service sector what is there. We also work very close with the OECD, and right now we are having the joint project funded by the DG Reform as well with the OECD to helping us to better cope with the future challenges. Please, next slide. You have a, yeah, oh yeah. Oh, yes. Okay, and why we actually want to have this mining sector? As I already told you earlier, that the game is changing, and it has been changing quite dramatically during the last couple of years. Not just because of the political situation, but because of also the understanding that we need to increase our domestic production in certain raw materials called critical raw materials in the European context. And when we talk about that we have to increase our domestic production, it means that we go to somebody's territory in different regions. It's a very much place-based industry, and you can't simply, you just have to mine where the deposits are, where the minerals are. And that means that some cases you have to start to develop entire new ecosystem around the new deposits. Not to forget the old mines, existing mines, and therefore we also have to think about how we can already capitalize and use the existing resources. And here I could very shortly tell the one example. For example, in Finland, when we talk about the cobalt, we have one of the 6 biggest cobalt deposits in our territory. But actually we realized that it's a closed mine, and it was used to be the copper mine. But then, as a result of these inventions at the moment, it was realized that the waste of that copper mine actually has at least a worth of 1 billion euro of a cobalt, what has to be used and capitalized. And therefore, and we also see that the regions we can play very important role, and actually we are very important on this new situation, what is changed. And therefore, we work together, and now particularly we are really strongly strengthening this collaboration, because now is really the time for us, and the phenomena is there. Yes. And then, as we know, all of you know, that this Critical Raw Material Act, which has been just approved by the European Parliament a couple of weeks ago, it will actually set the scheme for that how we are trying to increase our domestic production and what are the actions what we have to take there. And at the same time, when we work with the big different layers, there are big industry takes care of the big industry and their responsibilities, but at the same time, in the regional context, we can provide, and we will provide, a lot of added value, and we have to take care of these ecosystem operations and see our place what is there. And here I will give the floor to our colleague Santiago.
Thank you, Cristina. So it's very important also to realize that the ambitions of the Raw Materials Act cannot be achieved without the importance of the regions. In the Raw Materials Act, we are going to create a community between all the member states. In mining are relying on endogenous resources, local resources, so all the objectives are not only technical, but also the technical, policy, collaboration, internationalization of the Raw Materials Act, they need to rely on the regions. Again, mining relates to endogenous resources, and that means regions. So we have not started from zero. This is a long-term relationship among different regions that started in 2014 together. We have created interregional projects around. We have created the Mining Regions Committee. We have worked with DERRI, with the Committee of the Regions. We have created an InnoSub project called Mind the Gap, which is also financing by open calls and innovation vouchers to small and medium enterprises that are related to green mining. We have created common policy under the partnership, and was introduced one of our most lighthouse projects with the government of Andalusia and the government of Extremadura and the government of Alentejo in Portugal, which was introduced by Eric, I for Green, which is creating a hub and a lighthouse with a launchpad of interregional projects on raw materials, boosting the economy of the regions through key projects in raw materials. How we are constructing all that? We have created a community of practice around the innovation ecosystems and mining and raw materials hubs, creating ecosystems. Creating an innovation ecosystem is the most important pillar to further develop all our alliance. In an innovation ecosystem, we are connecting across the quadruple helix all the actors in a region. We are also putting in value the human capital that a region has. And very important, we are trying to develop all the instruments to attract investments. Again, without policy, without the region help, we cannot attract investments. In raw materials, investments are the key, together with the cooperation with the local authorities, because the social acceptance of any mining project and also the relying policy that is behind. To connect this funding attraction, we are correlating the two instruments that the European Commission has given to us, the I3s, the Interregional Investment Funds, and the new regional innovation valleys. And all that are part of the agenda of creating the ecosystems and the smart specialization strategy. I know that this sounds complex, but everything is a complex puzzle, but all the pieces match into creating and to helping us to develop innovation ecosystem about different thematics that are specialized in the speciality of every region. Our global plan at the end relies on the creation of an interregional European hub together with all the regional governments, but focusing on a strategy of attracting investments, on one hand, private, so we are creating a project platform with a business hub platform. We are synergizing public and private funding, and one of the big pillars that we are using are the I3s with specific projects. However, we are also creating an investment platform that will also manage a stockpiling. In order to solve the problem of raw materials, is not only to extract, it's not only to develop technologies, it's not only to develop policy, it's also to create a synergy between all the member states and the regions to synchronize a strategic stockpiling of all the raw materials that are required to supply the industrial value chains in Europe. So it's very important that we ensure the sustainable supply of the raw materials to Europe, and then we synchronize with a private-public stockpiling platform that we are currently developing. Every raw material will be stockpiled and managed across the member states, but relying on particular regions. For instance, the region of Andalusia is well known to be one of the world-level producers of copper. So it makes sense to have a clear logistics around copper in Andalusia. Please, Christina.
Yes, and when we come to this sector, and when we talk about the synergistic funding and capitalizing all possible sources, it's also the question of integrating the regional policy with the European industrial policy. How to make these two different policies to have a dialogue between each other, and then to have the research, development and innovation policies between, which are putting things into practice. And that is something what we are trying to very strongly to focus in our collaboration, is that we help regions to develop their capacity, to develop the capabilities to take active role while supporting the SMEs in this sector, particularly the SMEs providing the services. And what we have seen, for example, the case of Finland, the case of Spain, Portugal and other partners as well, that particularly the management of the environmental issues and management of the circularity in the mining environment has been one of the key topics where the SMEs could be specialized and provide the added value for the big companies and develop that. And there we have regional authorities are playing a very important role, because they are kind of sitting above the money, what is contributed by the cohesion policy. And how we actually integrate the cohesion policy with this big industry operating in the regional level. And this is something what we have worked very, very close together with all our partners, and kind of finding the good practices are on their way. But then we talk about the Horizon Europe, then we talk about the Digital Europe and all different kinds of programs. We have more money than ever before in the European Union to use at the moment because of different situations. But that situation will change quite soon, I believe so. So we have to be strategically very clever on that how we actually make different funding sources backing up each other's. How the regional level cohesion funds are used so that the businesses, development, research and innovation organizations have better capabilities to upgrade themselves and to be in the European collaboration, bring the Horizon Europe money and the other money for the benefit of the region, and to find the dialogue between there. And then finally, to help businesses to go into the investments. The lack is there that how we can actually support really the business to commercialize their products, and there we have to have a more effort, and they need more support on that. And that is something what we are dealing with and what we hope to support better. And that's why we also need this inter-regional collaboration. That's why we need all this dialogue what we have here, because when it comes to the mining and when it comes to the sector, there are different practices, there are different countries, there are different corporate responsibility actions, and there are different kinds of corporate practices, how they deal with the regions. And then what comes to at the moment when we talk about the European level initiative to increase the own production, of course there is a permitting. How it actually made and how that will integrate with the national legislation and kind of independence in each of the member states to make their own decisions. For example, in Finland, at the moment, municipalities can say no or yes, it's up to them. If they say no, then it's no. How do you deal with that one? And then it's an issue that it really has to be communicated in the regional level, and the context is issue. And then, of course, how to raise the capital, because at the moment we talk about the big things, and then when we talk about the social licensing to operate, that's a very everlasting issue, and we have to keep that discussion on the top all the time. Santiago.
Okay, so I will jump to the final slide because we are running out of time. I see the clock in red. How we are integrating all that, no? How is, in our real life, the solution to the puzzle? We are trying to create this big interregional hub of hubs, relying with all the problems related with raw materials, with the final clear objective of ensuring the sustainable supply of raw materials to all the world European industrial value chains. In order to do that, we are working in the creation of a hub of meta hub of regions working in raw materials. This will be part of the Smart Specialization platform, but that is being part of different interregional projects, including some I3s and including our idea on regional innovation valleys focused on the circularity of the raw materials. These valleys are relying on actions already successful that has been founded or are being applying to I3 projects. For instance, the I4 Green, which is relying on the raw materials. We have created a launchpad of raw materials projects and ecosystems in Andalusia and Extremadura. We are creating, or we have created already, and is funded, also Andalusia is participating on this, the creation of a European recycling valley for the batteries, which is one of the most important problems that we have currently in the transition, in the energy transition. We are now launching another valley that will be also coordinated by Andalusia on the recycling of permanent magnets, which are one of the most important problems that we have on technology, because the permanent magnets are relying on critical raw materials like neodymium, rare earths, and are the core of all the electrical devices in the electric car, the core of the windmills to generate renewable energy, etc., etc. And the creation of a valley of microchips, another workhorse that you know the European Commission is pursuing. And for achieving all that, we are synchronizing the private investments, the creation of an interregional launchpad of projects, and the stockpiling of raw materials. Thank you very much. Our contact details are there. We are available for questions.
Yes.
And thanks to all of you for being present. Thanks for the European Commission to organizing this session. And thanks to all the authorities that are in the room for attending us and supporting us in all our projects. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We are starting to get more time, I see.
Yes.
Yes.
We are given slightly more time. Are there any questions? I think that there was one question on the Regional Innovation Valley. Perhaps you can answer it now before we close. Magda?
Yeah, about the cost.
Yes?
I already mentioned that we have, I think my mic doesn't work.
Yeah. No, answer the question of the...
So yeah, we will have still 40 million for the second round of Regional Innovation Valleys calls, but it's also the big political message we're trying to see. We're doing something very new, a bit scary. We're mixing up instruments, different funds. We're encouraging synergies and co-found. But the reality is the overall EU funding will be decreasing in time. So we encourage you, the stakeholders and regions, to learn with this pilot and to be the first one to understand how it works. Because also the advantage of the 50% of co-found is that you'll have a say on how the project will be shaped. Because it's not 100% EU contribution, it's 50-50. So we start seeing ecosystem stakeholders are partners. And that's why I think it's good to jump on the first batch of calls this year. With the deadline of 17 October, it's a bit challenging if you're just discovering it. But hopefully next year with the second batch of calls, because potentially in the FP10, so next programming framework, this would be one of the key elements to understand how the co-fund and synergy works. So I hope that with the examples we gave, we encourage you a bit that this is feasible. So yet again, I invite you to contact us if you have any other questions. Yeah, something.
Yes. Even if entering in your business as an applicant successful in all the I3s and very used to European funds, I want to clarify to the audience the main difference. The I3s are investment funds that allow you to create an innovation ecosystem, but must be focused on solving a clear industrial problem, a clear industrial product, a clear industrial innovation that you help to put into the market to create value in your region. Of course, the regional government are going to support, they need to support indeed, but it's more directly going straight to the point to a particular scale-up thing with industries and with RTOs and the full quadruple helix. While the regional innovation valleys are something bigger, is something that it will involve, is the creation of something of value with the direct support in this case of the regional government, because the regional government must co-found and is creating a real innovation ecosystem to benefit many of the actors in the region. So the I3 already collect some actors to solve or to scale up and to bring value to the region on a particular domain, on a particular example. The Regional Innovation Valley is more an action for the governments. The regional governments will create the framework to then give support to all the actors in the region on a particular thematic, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, if I may.
We're being
Sorry.
Yes,
hello?
Yes.
No, it's working.
Okay. Yeah, also for clarification, actually also I3 instrument is also a channel for a region to be labeled as Regional Innovation Valley, but indeed it's the SMEs that is involved in the consortium, and then with the endorsement letter, the region behind the SME can request, if interested, to be labeled as such, because it's all implemented along the same mentality, let's say, so this is all in the same way.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your
Taking it out
patience.
from us now.
Yes, and thank you very much to our technical team as well. I wish you a very nice lunch pause now.
Thank you.